So the company I'm complaining about or writing a review, I wrote a review about is Wells Fargo Bank, who took almost $7 of mine from a moving company who damaged a lot of goods of mine. And they would not, they put a hold on it. Then they turned around and changed their mind and took the hold off because of internal messed up processes of Wells Fargo Bank. Well, I moved on December 3rd and it went really bad. After the movers left, um, I noticed all sorts of damage um, to damage to my monitor, to the table that my entertainment system is on. They broke lamp. They didn't hook up my washer and dryer. They lost a cushion to a love seat that I cannot replace. They put my bed together incorrectly, and I freaked out and called Wells Fargo the same day, that actually that night after they cleared out. And then they ran out of here really fast because they knew they made a mess, but I was trying to watch three people running in and out of my apartment and I couldn't watch them all. So I contacted Wells Fargo and the woman was really sympathetic because she knew I was freaking out. I told the movers, Simplify Logistics, that to be careful with all of my things because a lot of them I could not replace. And they said, okay, and then proceeded to ignore that. Um, and so the woman at Wells Fargo Bank filed a claim and put a hold on the money, which was almost $700. And so they were supposed to investigate, and then all of the craziness began. They claimed they couldn't see the pictures. And I'm like, how could they not see the pictures of the damage? I took pictures of everything, which I wasn't able to attach to PIS consumers because they have a limit. And I had pictures of everything, but I couldn't attach them all. So, um, so when the claims department got a hold of me, they were just crazy. They kept telling me that they couldn't see the pictures and I didn't understand why. And then they switched from not being able to see the pictures to, well, what about the washer and dryer? I said, well, they didn't tell me they weren't going to hook it up. They were supposed to move everything from there to here, and all of the big items were to be assembled. And so I had to get another guy. I had to get a appliance guy to come out and hook up my washer and dryer. Well, they wanted a receipt, so I sent them a receipt. Then they wanted me to get that appliance guy to write a letter saying that he hooked up the washer and dryer because the movers didn't. And I said, well, he didn't know that. He just knew I was panicked to get my washer and dryer hooked up because it had been 10 days. And that was only $75 of the almost $700. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to get this guy to lie and say he knew why he came out here. He wasn't here when the move happened. And so we kept going back and forth. Meanwhile, I found out that they took the pictures and scanned them through a black and white scanner. Couldn't see a thing. I said, well, why don't you just accept the pictures that I sent to you via email? Well, that's not our procedures. It has to go through that scanner. I said, that's antiquated. Why would it go through it? Why would it take color pictures and turn them into black and white? You wouldn't be able to see anything. So after that, I called Visa because they told me they needed the pictures clear enough so that Visa could see them. Well, I contacted Visa and they said, we don't have anything to do with the internal processing of claims of any of the banks that we issue these cards to. We're just the card issuer. So they lied about that. And I was reliving the nightmare of the move. So I was very agitated with them hanging everything up. And So finally, they kept saying I refused to get the appliance guy to write that letter on their business letterhead. I said he didn't own that company. He was just an employee. So, how, and you want me to get him to lie? I'm not going to do it. Okay, well, we're going to write down you refused to cooperate. I said, no, you need to write down that you're asking me to have somebody do something that's ridiculous, and it's only $75 of the entire cost of the move. Now, the things that they damaged together, all together, to replace them, to fix them, uh, well exceeded the move. So, but they said, well, how can we prove that? And I said, you've got the pictures. Take the color pictures. Don't scan them into a black and white scanner. Well, we can't do that, so we're going to close your case. I said, really? And so they closed the case and took the money back. And I don't think they ever took the money back from the business to begin with, to be honest. I think they just put a hold on it to go through their claims department, and they just took the hold off and then deducted that money out of my bank account. So then I said, well, I called Wells Fargo back. I said, well, I want to file a complaint against the claims department. And they said, well, you have to go into the bank to do that. So I went into the bank. I went to a branch nearby and started explaining the story, and he wasn't even listening. He just said, oh, okay, well, he stuck something in the computer. He wrote down a number of the whatever it was he wrote down, the claim against the claims department, and a phone number, and gave it to me and said, somebody will be in contact with you. I said, really? Okay. So I waited a week. Nobody contacted me. So I called that number. I said, how are you guys going to investigate this? They said, well, we'll have this guy call you. I've got all the names written down somewhere else, but they said that a man will be calling me. I said, okay, we'll make sure he does, because otherwise, how do you know what the complaint is about? I said, that guy that was in the bank, he didn't write down anything, and he didn't enter in the complaint on the computer. They said, okay, somebody will contact you. Another week goes by. Nobody contacts me. So I call that number back. And they said, well, it was given to, and then they gave me a woman's name. I said, okay, well, when is she going to call me? Because you guys don't know what I'm complaining about the complaints department. And they said, well, we don't know, but it's now in this other woman's hands, and she will contact you. Well, when she contacted me, she was regurgitating the thing about the scanner, the thing about the letter. And I told her, what? No, I'm complaining about the claims department, in that this is what they said. So your internal investigation wasn't to get my side of it. You went to the claims department to get their side of it. And what kind of sense does that make? And they lied, and they deceived me, and I'm really upset. I'm going through this nightmare move over and over and over again because of the claims department. She said, well, what about the letter? And I said, what about it? I said, I'm not getting this guy to write a letter saying he knew something he didn't know. She said, well, how about calling a moving company? I said, to do what? To have them come over, have them write a letter. I said, you're being, they weren't here. What are they going to say except what what I explained to them? Write a letter for what? She said, well, I don't know, but, we need somebody to prove blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you're free to come over. If you guys want to see the damage, it's here. And I haven't been able to replace anything yet. So it's all here in the house, and you guys have the pictures. How about I send you the pictures? And she said, no, we want the letter. I said, the $75 letter, the letter that's worth $75? That's not making any sense, ma'am. So she said, okay, forget it. And I ended up hanging up on her. She hung up on me, and they closed the case. They told me I only had a week to appeal after the claims department threw it out.
Mm-hmm. I see. And did you try to contact anyone else? Like, are there any people that you can contact to solve it?
Not known except to file a small claims, uh, file something in small claims, which costs money to do. And I've put the complaint out on a couple of websites. You guys are the only ones that are taking this as seriously. I'm pretty surprised. Um, I was expecting to hear, oh, that lady, the one of those emails that I thought I was just inviting them to view this is her. The Wells Fargo at wellsfargo.com email, it's her. And so I haven't been able to, haven't known what to do. And I'm afraid to close my bank account without resolving this first because I want to get away from Wells Fargo Bank. I've been involved with Wells Fargo Bank directly and indirectly since the 1980s. And they don't care about customers. They don't care if you're long term, short term. They've got billions of dollars. I'm an elder veteran living on a fixed income. That's my money that they took and didn't give back to me when they've got billions of dollars.
What would you advise to the future customers of Wells Fargo?
Be very careful about these major banks because I did go out on your site and I saw a bunch of other complaints about other big banks, and maybe customers should consider smaller banks that really take care of their customers and they really care about their well-being as well as their bottom line. The bigger the company gets, the less they care about the customer. So I'm going to go to a smaller bank once I get this resolved.
And okay, why did you decide to go on public and to make the video interview and to share your story?
Why did? Because I really want my money back. I need that money to replace the things they damaged. Um, and to me, it was better than me filling out a bunch of paperwork for the county that I live in and get this tied up in court. I really don't like court proceedings because it costs money to file, and then it costs your time and effort and driving around um, to resolve stuff. And COVID-19 is going on, so none of the banks are open. All of the government businesses are shut down, and by the time all of this stuff ended, we were in the middle of COVID-19, this pandemic. So online was better for me than resolving it through the small claims court. I may ended up having to do that anyway, but maybe they'll listen to this, maybe.